On a dark and windy night, under the eaves of a house, the body of a pregnant young woman was discovered. Shockingly, traces of semen from 2 men were found inside her. Tragically, her son, only 6 years old, also did not survive. Overnight, 3 lives were lost at the crime scene. What exactly happened, and who wanted them dead? On June 13, 2011, in Yukaichong Village, Zhenyi County, Yunnan Province, villagers reported a woman found dead under the eaves of her home. Upon hearing it was a homicide, the police hurried to the scene, where they found a woman lying in a pool of blood, already dead. The woman, in her tragic death, was almost decapitated and was 6 months pregnant, making the chase she suffered particularly horrifying. From the villagers, the police learned the victim's name was Jiang Haiyan, a 31-year-old married woman from the village. Based on the scene, the police quickly noted a discrepancy. Although Jiang Haiyan was the only victim found, the amount of blood suggested there might be other victims. The police began an immediate investigation and soon confirmed their suspicion when a villager mentioned that 2 injured men were also present during the incident, one being Jiang's husband, Zhao Yuanbing, and the other a villager named Zhao Zhengliang. Both were severely injured and had been taken to the hospital. The police rushed to the hospital, where doctors reported Zhao Yuanbing's severe injuries, including a 14 centimeters cut to his left face, damaging even his skull and leaving him in a deep coma, unable to speak. Zhao Zhengliang was also in a coma due to excessive blood loss from a cut to his left wrist. Meanwhile, police found a boy, not older than 10, lying motionless on the couch in Jiang's living room, surrounded by blood. He was declared dead by forensic examination and was identified as Jiang's 6-year-old son. The police began their investigation starting from Jiang's body, astonishingly finding semen from 2 men inside her, indicating she had relations with 2 different men shortly before her murder. This led to the question of whether she was coerced or it was consensual. Considering the comatose men in the hospital and the traces found on Jiang, the police initially suspected a crime of passion. Notably, the wound on Zhao Zhengliang's wrist was on the inside, which is unusual if he was attacked by someone else. It would typically be on the outside. This abnormality suggested he inflicted the wound himself. Additionally, doctors found traces of pesticide in Zhao Zhengliang's system before he fell into a coma, pointing to his significant role in the case. 4 days later, on June 17, 2011, Zhao Yuanbing woke up and immediately identified Zhao Zhengliang as the culprit. Upon awakening, Zhao Zhengliang tried to deflect the blame, claiming he couldn't remember the events of that night. However, the police did not believe him because the forensic report on Jiang indicated that the semen matched both her husband, Zhao Yuanbing, and Zhao Zhengliang. With ample evidence, the police arrested Zhao Zhengliang upon his discharge from the hospital and took him for questioning. Despite his initial resistance, Zhao Zhengliang soon confessed to all charges. Zhao Zhengliang and Zhao Yuanbing, both residents of Yukaichong Village, were longtime friends, and hence Jiang Haiyan and Zhao Zhengliang were also acquainted. Zhao Yuanbing often worked away from home to support his family, while Jiang stayed home to care for their child. In the winter of 2010, Zhao Zhengliang's father passed away. At that time, Zhao Zhengliang was still a bachelor, and there were no women in his household to manage his father's funeral, so out of concern for her friend, Jiang Haiyan took the initiative to help Zhao Zhengliang with the funeral arrangements. During the days Zhao Zhengliang was mourning his father, Jiang Haiyan was busy helping out, and she managed the funeral very respectfully and properly. Zhao Zhengliang was very grateful to her. After the feast, Jiang Haiyan asked Zhao Zhengliang to take her home, which he thought was appropriate since he owed her a favor. However, he did not know that Jiang Haiyan had ulterior motives. After taking Jiang Haiyan home, Zhao Zhengliang was about to return the same way, but Jiang Haiyan said she felt unwell and asked Zhao Zhengliang to stay and take care of her. When Zhao Zhengliang did not react immediately, Jiang Haiyan embraced him from behind and leaned weakly against his back. While twisting her body, she said she liked Zhao Zhengliang. Perhaps because of years of loneliness, Jiang Haiyan wanted to seize this opportunity to cling to this man and vent her desires. Jiang Haiyan employed various seductive tactics to entice Zhao Zhengliang. Initially, Zhao Zhengliang wanted to refuse Jiang Haiyan, as she was his friend's wife, and he knew it was wrong to covet a friend's wife. But who could have expected that after being rejected, Jiang Haiyan would strip off her clothes and kiss Zhao Zhengliang's face and neck passionately, even reaching into his trousers. Seeing such fervent enthusiasm, Zhao Zhengliang finally fell for it, and thus they had their first affair. With Jiang Haiyan's husband, Zhao Yuanbing, frequently away from home, and Zhao Zhengliang's father deceased, leaving Zhao Zhengliang alone at home, this created a lot of secretive space for Jiang Haiyan and Zhao Zhengliang. They slept together almost every night, and Jiang Haiyan's desires were very strong. Sometimes even during the day she was restless. To avoid the eyes of the villagers, Jiang Haiyan and Zhao Zhengliang would sneak into the wild during the day to have an affair. They were very close and happy together. To continue exploiting Zhao Zhengliang, Jiang Haiyan even started acting as Zhao Zhengliang's wife, washing his clothes, cooking, cleaning, and even warming water for him to wash his feet at night. Even though Zhao Yuanbing occasionally came home, Jiang Haiyan never neglected Zhao Zhengliang. Having been single for many years, Zhao Zhengliang gradually felt the care of having a wife and slowly developed genuine feelings for Jiang Haiyan. He found he could not live without her and fell uncontrollably in love with her. In February 2011, when Zhao Yuanbing came home again to see the children, and Zhao Zhengliang went to the hospital due to illness, Jiang Haiyan paused her secret meetings with Zhao Zhengliang. However, Zhao Zhengliang could not sit still after not seeing Jiang Haiyan for just a few days and became desperate. Just when he was about to call Jiang Haiyan, she called him first, saying she had just argued with her husband and felt very depressed, so she ran away from home to find solace with Zhao Zhengliang. Zhao Zhengliang was delighted to hear this, as in his heart, Jiang Haiyan was treating him as a real husband. During those days, Zhao Zhengliang stayed in the hospital during the day and secretly met with Jiang Haiyan at night in a small hotel near the hospital. They were inseparable and increasingly acted like a real married couple. A month later, in March 2011, Zhao Zhengliang received good news. Jiang Haiyan told him that she was pregnant with his child. Knowing he was going to be a father, Zhao Zhengliang no longer wanted to sneak around. He excitedly told Jiang Haiyan he hoped she would divorce Zhao Yuanbing and then marry him. Perhaps worried about losing Zhao Zhengliang, her obedient lover, Jiang Haiyan did not reject him and agreed to his request. But as there are no walls that do not let air through, soon the villagers discovered their affair, and the news reached Zhao Yuanbing's ears. Upon hearing of his wife's infidelity, Zhao Yuanbing was furious. He immediately called Zhao Zhengliang to his house to clarify the matter face to face. Zhao Zhengliang was not afraid. Since Jiang Haiyan had already agreed to divorce her husband, he would have to face this day sooner or later. When he arrived at Zhao Yuanbing's house, Zhao Zhengliang did not make any excuses, but openly admitted his relationship with Jiang Haiyan and boldly left a message, telling Zhao Yuanbing that he and Jiang Haiyan were in true love. Zhao Yuanbing could either wear his green hat and swallow his anger, or divorce Jiang Haiyan early and let the two of them be together. After saying this, Zhao Zhengliang left, feeling relieved. Thinking that he and Zhao Yuanbing had been friends for many years, and considering that Jiang Haiyan was pregnant, Zhao Yuanbing would not likely harm him because of his respect for the monk's dignity, if not the Buddha's. Meanwhile, Jiang Haiyan played another trick. In front of her husband, Zhao Yuanbing, she insisted that the child was his and suggested a paternity test after the child was born if he doubted her. She also expressed to Zhao Yuanbing that from then on she would sever all ties with Zhao Zhengliang and have no further dealings with him, successfully calming Zhao Yuanbing down. But only Jiang Haiyan knew that all of this was just a lie concocted to smooth things over. Once Zhao Yuanbing left, she would continue her relationship with Zhao Zhengliang. A few days later, when Zhao Yuanbing again went to the city for work, as soon as her husband left, Jiang Haiyan immediately hooked up with Zhao Zhengliang again. This time, Zhao Zhengliang was not as patient as before. Eager to be openly together with Jiang Haiyan, he constantly urged her to hurry up and get a divorce. Although Jiang Haiyan always agreed each time, she never actually took any action. On June 12, 2011, Zhao Yuanbing returned home. Zhao Zhengliang thought he could take this opportunity to finally resolve the divorce matter. So that afternoon, Zhao Zhengliang called Jiang Haiyan to his house, and after they were intimate as usual, Zhao Zhengliang gave Jiang Haiyan an ultimatum. He expressed that he could not wait any longer and wanted confirmation that Jiang Haiyan would divorce Zhao Yuanbing that very night. Jiang Haiyan realized that Zhao Zhengliang was serious, so she temporarily agreed to his demand. However, by the evening of June 13th, Zhao Zhengliang still hadn't received any message from Jiang Haiyan, and she didn't answer his calls. Zhao Zhengliang felt like he was being tossed around by Jiang Haiyan like trash. Even though Jiang Haiyan had already agreed to divorce and was also carrying his child, now he couldn't even contact her. The more Zhao Zhengliang thought about it, the angrier he became. So he decided to confront her personally, and for courage, he took a kitchen knife with him. Upon arriving at Zhao Yuanbing's home, Zhao Zhengliang saw Zhao Yuanbing happily watching TV on the sofa with his son, and Jiang Haiyan was in the kitchen preparing dinner for father and son, looking like a happy family not at all close to divorcing. This infuriated Zhao Zhengliang. He finally realized that Jiang Haiyan had always been toying with him and had never intended to divorce Zhao Yuanbing. Feeling like a huge joke, various emotions overwhelmed Zhao Zhengliang, and he lost control. He picked up the kitchen knife and started slashing at Zhao Yuanbing, who fled in terror. Jiang Haiyan immediately intervened to restrain Zhao Zhengliang, hugging him tightly and scolding him to stop his foolish fantasy. She told him that the child she was carrying was Zhao Yuanbing's and that she would never divorce him. It was this statement that caused Zhao Zhengliang to completely lose his sanity. He swung the knife at Jiang Haiyan. Seeing the situation spiraling out of control, Jiang Haiyan hurried outside to escape, but both she and Zhao Yuanbing had forgotten their son, who was still sitting on the living room sofa. In a rage, Zhao Zhengliang took out his anger on the innocent child, resulting in the child's death. However, Zhao Zhengliang would not stop there. His final target was still the couple. After killing the child, Zhao Zhengliang dashed out the door and soon caught up with the couple. He then repeatedly hacked at Jiang Haiyan's head, and within less than 5 minutes, she stopped breathing. Next, Zhao Zhengliang turned the knife towards Zhao Yuanbing, slashing a long, deep cut across his face, cutting down to the bone. Due to excessive blood loss, Zhao Yuanbing collapsed. Thinking Zhao Yuanbing was dead, Zhao Zhengliang finally stopped. Knowing he couldn't escape the consequences of his actions, Zhao Zhengliang decided to end his life. He ran back home, drank some pesticide, and then slashed his left wrist. Zhao Zhengliang thought his life was over, but he was discovered in time by villagers and was resuscitated at the hospital. After being arrested, Zhao Zhengliang, realizing the gravity of his crimes, requested that his organs be donated to those in need after his death, hoping that the recipients would not commit evil acts. But it was too late. Nothing Zhao Zhengliang did could atone for his sins. Ultimately, the court sentenced Zhao Zhengliang to death for murder, and he was executed. Zhang Haiyan played with fire and not only failed to save her own life, but also implicated her young son and her innocent husband. Truly a lamentable case. If anyone has thoughts about this case, feel free to discuss in the comments section. If you like our content, remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to receive updates. Thank you for watching this episode of Super Detective, and see you next time as we delve into more bizarre cases with a taste of life.